Hi, I'm Rekesha Pittman, and welcome to the EAST formula for entrepreneurs, authors, speakers, and trainers. This is session one, where we'll look at E of EAST for entrepreneur. And an entrepreneur is not just someone who sells things, okay? We problem solve, we provide solutions and results. So I'm going to give you the same advice that I got from my business advisor. Okay, so let me start here. I am a great side hustler. I have enough talent to make a little money on the side. But when I wanted to grow my business, I went to my main mentor and she referred me to my business mentor, who's still one of my amazing business mentors. And guess what she told me? Do what makes you money. I want you to write that down. Do what makes you money. Some of us get so caught up in our feelings, and we get caught up in our ideas, and we get caught up in the dreams that we have. And just because you like it doesn't mean that the masses are going to like it. So I've done several things in my serial entrepreneurship career that did not make money because I did what I liked, but it wasn't necessarily what the public liked. So I started to cut those things away and do what makes you money. I want you to think about it right now. What is making you money and what's losing you money? Okay, sometimes your time is spread out so thin that you can't focus on what makes you money. All right, so remember, write this down for the year. Do what makes you money. Okay, and then I'm going to deal with the reality of where we are. There are people who promise you 7 figures, they promise you 6 figures, and we know that we're in an economy right now. You know, they say multiple streams of income. Well, I am inviting you right now to create a second salary. Think about a second salary. And when I'm saying salary, I'm saying 5 figures. Okay, so if you divide that up over 12 months, that's not even $1,000 per month. Okay, if you just want to get to 5, so take the pressure off of yourself right now. If you just want to get to 5, in my worst year as an entrepreneur, I always made what is equivalent to a great salary. Okay, if you go into a corporate sector, a great salary. So I want you to think about a second salary. You are able to pull in this economy a second salary. You are going to be the one that is going to make that second salary, and you can do it if you apply the EAST formula. Okay, so let's go ahead into business. Okay, what's your offer? What are you offering right now? That is based on your core talent, and you know I teach core talent, right? That is based on your core talent, that unique skill or ability that no matter what, you can't run from it, you can't get away from it, everybody asks for it. What is your offer? Not what's your job, not what's your career, and that's okay. You can do a second salary, all right? So people want to put this pressure on you and say, I'm a full-time entrepreneur. Yeah, I've been a full-time entrepreneur and I've been a second salary person too. So it's okay if you're working a full-time job right now, we're going to create a second salary using the EAST formula. So what's your offer? Do you have a product or products? Do you have a service or services, or are you offering both? And as you look at your worksheet, it has you select, do you offer a product? Do you offer a service, or both? They can work together. You do not have to do it all. Don't think that you have to keep adding products that do not work, okay? Based on what you're offering, do what people respond to, make changes, ask questions, all right? And see what it is that's going to really make you money. Years ago, I sold bling shirts, all right, for the arts community. My Black shirts would sell out, my pink shirts would not. So I don't have to offer everything. I have to understand that certain colors work in certain seasons. So for your product, it may need to be repackaged. I've seen people do that. You may need to reimagine what you're doing. It's maybe not that what you have is not working. It may be the way that you're presenting it, okay? So service, a product, or both. All right, so let's dig into Business 101. I know that you know this, but some things have changed since the last time we got together. So Business 101, number 1. Do you have a legitimate business? Which means, do you have active paperwork right now? And that paperwork is usually, if you're in the United States, filed with your Secretary of State. Fees definitely vary. You can do different types of formations, right? So I'm not going to advise you on what is best for you to do, but I want to take some pressure away, all right? So you can do, as an East person, you can do an LLC, which is a limited liability company, not corporation company, okay? You can do an incorporation, which does require to have a board. For some states, if you do an LLC, which is a limited liability company, you can have a single member LLC, depending on where you live, or two or more, okay? But you list all of your officers and your people on your paperwork or your articles of incorporation when you file. I am not going to focus on nonprofits for a reason. And there is nothing wrong with running a nonprofit, but if you are an entrepreneur, you're going to need a profit-making stream. Years ago, I met a multimillionaire who told me, my businesses are not nonprofit, they are tax exempt. My businesses are not nonprofit, they are tax exempt. The way that you speak about your business is going to show up in your business. So with his business being tax exempt, he was performing a service which exempted him from certain taxes, and they could write off things. If you say nonprofit, that means you don't expect any money to come in, and we wonder why so many nonprofits are failing or struggling with money, because you're saying, I don't make a profit. So you're not in the business to make a profit, but what I'm telling you is you can have a for-profit branch for yourself. Your goods and your services are profit, okay? If you have a service organization, that's fine, but I don't want you to be scared of money and scared of taxes, okay? You need a good bookkeeping system and somebody good to keep the book. It's okay, all right? It's okay. I just want you to know that it's okay, all right? So after you do that, you're going to need an EIN, okay? It's an employer identification number. It is free. You go, first you do the paperwork. First you file your paperwork, okay? Then you go get an EIN, because it needs to exactly match what is approved on your paperwork. Save that document as a PDF. I put files, you can save it in the cloud. I have files for all my business docs whenever I file any articles or any paperwork, and I keep them all together because I need them to go down to the bank, okay? Now, as of January 1st, we have to do FinCEN, okay? So this means that you have to file an extra form for transparency to say who owns this LLC or who owns this business. It is free to file. If you file a new LLC this year, you only have 30 days to get that done. If you filed it before 2024, you have until 2025. Do not take me as legal advice. This is what I've heard and this is what I've seen. Do your research for yourself, all right? And it's just making sure people aren't out there, laundering money. Okay, so when you get all of your documents together, you need a bank account. Why? How am I going to be able to get money if I don't have a way to filter that? Cash App is not the answer, even though lots of people want to Cash App you in business, right? Zelle can happen, but it's not the answer. Even though people want to do that, if they say this is the only way I can pay you, I'll take your money. But what I'm telling you is you need to have a way for your money to flow so that you can link payment processors to that. Stripe, PayPal, any other processors out there, even your bank. You want to be able to have a way to track your money better and well, okay? So you take those documents, your articles, your EIN, and just take everything down there, all right? To the bank. They may ask for more information, and you open up a business bank account at the bank of your choice. I'm not pushing you to do one thing or the other, but it helps, all right? Get a good tax person, find out what you can write off, and you're good. But that's at least how to get started, and make sure that you're keeping a book. If you don't have a bookkeeper, make sure that you get some type of software that is online. There are lots of different versions, but just make sure that you do your books at the end of the month. When I started out, and this is why I'm not putting a whole lot of pressure on you to be perfect, okay? When I started out, I was a sole proprietor. My first business was an event planning business. I trained and I planned events, and I filed it. This was when I lived in Long Beach, and I was a sole proprietor. And the only thing about being a sole proprietor is that it doesn't protect you like an LLC or an incorporated document does. But I don't want you to give yourself excuses anymore. This is why I'm coming after the excuses this year. EX, Excuses, no more, no more. E does not stand for excuses, it stands for entrepreneur, okay? So I'm coming after those excuses this year, and you start, is what I'm telling you, okay? So wherever you can start, you start. Even if you don't do that, I want you to start doing things that makes you money. Do what makes you money. Can you believe back in the day I used to do my friends' eyebrows and hair in college? I wrote papers. I did not have right? I did not have a business license to do it, but even to this day, people hire me to edit their doctoral documents, and I do thesis and everything. Like, so it started in college, and here we are to this day. I'm still making money from my core talents. So start somewhere and grow. I want you to stop with the excuses. Start somewhere, doggone it. Okay? It doesn't have to be perfect, but I want you to aspire to, and I want you to attain the legal stuff and make sure that you're in compliance so that if someone wants to invest in your business, you're legit. Too legit to quit. Hey. Okay? Don't let a business plan stop you. The people tell you all these rules and you're like, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed. And then you don't want to do it. Do not let a business plan stop you, but have a plan in place. So have a goal. Write down, this is how many units I want to sell per month. This is how many clients I need to book this month. This is what I want to earn per month. Put a goal in place and then put a structure in place for you to get to that. And we'll talk about that in a minute, all right? So if you don't have a full out business plan, which is for you to get money, have a focus for your business every single year. Take the doggone pressure off, okay? I'm going to keep saying that to you, because that is what stopped. It's like you don't get past section 1, so we can't get to 2, 3, and 4 because of this. Do you need to be a business person to be an author? No, but I'm bringing all of these together so that you can have what? A second salary and not a side hustle. That's what it is, okay? All right, so let's get down to business. Professional presence, y'all. You know me. Do you look like a good investment? Do you look like a safe place for people to put their money? Do you look like a vault? A professional presence helps you. I hope you're taking good notes. A professional presence helps you. And what is that? A website. Does it have to be perfect? No. Should it have every single idea in business that you've ever done? No. Okay? Focus. We talked about products and services, or I call them goods and services. Focus. I have multiple domains that I own and offer with different income streams, okay? But I want you, for the purposes of going east, to focus on the one that makes you money. What is your website? Do you own the domain? I've purchased domains for websites that I have yet to build. So a domain, just breaking it down, is like the dirt that you put a building on top of. It's the location, it is the address, okay? That's your domain. So whatever .com, .org, okay? Whatever that is your address. And then your website is the house or the structure that you put on top of the address, and people see that and they pull up, all right? So you need some type of website. It may be yourname.com, it may be yourbusinessname.com, but stop trying to stuff everything into the same house, okay? The most wealthy people own multiple pieces of real estate property, and so think about that as your digital real estate, okay? Now, when you have your website or your domain, you connect an email with that domain. So if you're still using Gmail, that's not professional. Now, do I have Gmails and do I use Gmails? Yes. But when I'm doing business, you're going to get an email from Rekesha at whatever.com that is one of my domains, one of my many domains. So you need to at least do that. Okay, it's easy for me because of the domain service provider that I use and where I purchase my domains. I'm easily able to add a professional email on there, set up my first one, and then do aliases. So I can have Rekesha at getrightpublishing.com or Rekesha at go24east.com, support at go24east.com, retreat at go24east.com. Things like that, where you can put different types of names on that page based on what it is. It is a professional presence. That way, everything doesn't necessarily, you're thinking it goes to your attention and everybody has your name. So you need to have that, or put this as a goal. No pressure, okay? This is a roadmap for you, all right? And a phone number. Now, if you don't want to go out and get a whole phone for your business, there are apps for that. And they're relatively inexpensive. On my phone, I have another number. So people call that, I know they're calling from that number, and I can answer, hi, this is Rekesha, or hi, go east with me, whatever. I can also forward that. Someone else can log in, right? And put and forward it to someone else. It depends on what systems you use. You do not have to use any specific system, but it's so inexpensive for you to have a phone number. Why is that important? When I go and network, which you should do on a regular basis, I've been doing that this year. Networking definitely is the way that I built my business to six figures, okay? Network, I go out and I network face to face. I have a number on there. People right now are they're more apt to text me and call me than they are to email me, even though my email's on that business card. Some of you have tap cards, some of you have scan cards, whatever. They need a way to connect with you. Some of them will connect with me on LinkedIn, some of them connect with me on, depending on what the networking event is, on social media. But I need a professional presence so that I am not looking at giving everybody my main phone number so I can block them. Okay. everybody ain't all right. Okay. So I have a phone number specifically assigned to my business for business purposes. I have specialized in making it easy. So I don't go look for the biggest, most expensive, shiniest thing. I find what can an entry level business person, and all of us are not in the same space. So if you're ready, upgrade. But what can an entry level business person do that is low cost? We want to make sure that every single item that you're paying for your business is paying for itself, right? This is why you need to do what makes you money. So you need a professional presence. And dare I say, your photos should be professional. So at least every year, and I'll return to that this year, I do a heck of a photo shoot, okay? Put it in your budget. It doesn't cost thousands of dollars. It only costs me a couple $100. But I pay for my makeup, I make sure my hair is done, and that I'm wearing something. And I'm going into it understanding this is going to be for books. This is going to be for flyers that people do for speakers. I want a photo that stands out. I am not saying I'm competitive. I'm saying that I'm magnetic. Can I say that again? I am not saying that I'm competitive. I'm saying that I'm magnetic. I want the type of picture on a flyer that makes people go, who is that? Okay. So think about that as you're doing your professional presence, that when I see these flyers with low resolution photos and things, that says something about you and you're not investing in you. Okay. So if you have a friend, fine, hook them up. But it really doesn't. If you get a hungry photographer that is going to turn your photos around and retouch them, and I do look for that and who has good results, I use them, and I'm going to keep on looking for the person who could take me to the next level in my photo shoot, because when people see your personality, it becomes a money magnet. Okay, so that's one of my little tips. That's your professional presence. All right, let's go to the next thing. So we talked about products and we talked about services. Let's focus on products for a minute. Products need pathways. Products need pathways. So what are you saying, Rekesha? Number one, you have to figure out what's the production of this. So let's go back to when I had a retail store in Las Vegas. I would buy the t-shirt blanks, right? So I would go and source my shirts online where they sold blanks, and I would buy so many blanks. That means that they had nothing on them. Sometimes they had a label, sometimes they didn't. Then I would contact my bling person. So I would negotiate with them to get my bling transfers to put on these shirts. They would usually come in strips of like 3 in a pack if I ordered 100 or if I ordered 200. Then I would have to cut each and every one of those out, place them. So I had rulers and grids and I was measuring them, and I had a heat press. Woo! Child, was I tired? I had a heat press. Then sometimes I would have somebody sew labels into them or place labels into them to make it an experience where they were my shirts. So I did all of that work. I'm sourcing it. I'm doing the labor. I'm doing the cutting. I'm doing the pressing. I'm doing the folding. I'm doing the shipping. So when orders come in or if I go to events, I'm there doing all that work. By the time I figured out what those shirts were really costing me, I was practically losing money. Then guess what? I found a factory. toured the factory. When they showed me their costs, because they bought in large volumes, it was cheaper for me to pay them to do my shirts, which at that time were like $6.50, versus the $12 shirt I was doing, thinking I'm saving money. Some of you are wasting money by doing everything yourself, and you're thinking you're saving yourself money. I was losing money. Because they ordered in such quantity, I was able to take advantage of the cost savings of the shirts that they already had. I still had to order my bling, but heck, it was way less than me doing all that sweating. So all they would do is say, your order's ready, you can come pick it up from the warehouse or ship it to me. And I was in the money, big difference. And they made all different types of products, which means I wasn't just stuck with shirts. I can do any variation to this day. And this particular factory made the shirts for Cirque du Soleil, Disney, Harley Davidson. So I had retail level shirts, and I had to sit up there and count down the pressing. And that's what some of you are doing, okay? Also, when I did a garment line, I went and I found a pattern maker. We don't want to do this level of work. Relieve yourself of all this. I went and found a pattern maker. She gave me a price per every 10 units or every 20 units. So it was easier for me to have her sew them in bulk, buy them, and then resell them than for me to sit there and try to negotiate with someone who wasn't a pattern maker. We had standard sizes. I paid her for every pattern, and then I placed my orders. And that's when I did classy classwear. Okay? Relieve yourself. This is what I'm saying. Sit in the CEO seat or sit in the entrepreneur seat and stop being the worker in your business. Find people to help you so that you can keep creating and finding ways to what? Do what makes you money. So products need pathways, you need production. However, you're going to produce those things. Wherever you started, look for a better way. Okay, look for an easier way. Look for a faster way so that you can focus on setting up your websites and making sure these things sell. Products need ports. And what I mean ports, I mean ways for them to make it through. So are you ordering things from overseas? Are you ordering things that need to be shipped out? How is that working for you? Do you ship your items to Amazon, or are you doing all of the shipping yourself? Are you trying to negotiate and waiting for items that are stuck in a port overseas because something happened? You know what I'm saying? So you have to think about how your goods are being delivered and transported, and if there is something maybe locally that you could do that makes a difference. Products need postage. Some of us forget about shipping costs. So yes, I give you this low bottom rate and then I forget. So some of you have not heard this story, some of you have. My first book weighed a pound. It was 371 pages. So in order for people to buy my book, me, newbie me, said, I'm going to give you a free gift with your order. And the book was $20 retail. It cost me $10 to purchase. Do the math. So I stick this free gift in there and I go to the post office and postage is $7, $8. I wasn't making no money on that book, right? So I have to figure I have to reduce these costs. Back then, that was before Amazon was as efficient and before they bought CreateSpace. Do you remember CreateSpace? If not, okay, there was CreateSpace. They kind of you upload your documents and they can print and manufacture and ship. And now all I do every month, and I said every month I get paid royalties for my books. It eased my mind. So now I only buy enough books when I go speak. I have speaking engagements all the time. I buy enough books that I think that I could sell out. I no longer have stacks and stacks of books in my house. If I run out, I usually tell someone, hey, go right to the website and order, and then I'll give them maybe something special at my table. If I have journals to give away or a pen to give away or a free gift to give away, all they have to do is show me on their phone that they ordered the book and I'll give that to them if I run out. There are ways to do that, but you want to be a cash flow positive, okay? You don't want to take 15 pounds of books with you and come back with 16 pounds of books, all right? I want to come back with zero every time I try to sell them out. Okay, can I tell you a trick? Not a trick, a technique. So if you see me do this, don't be like, oh, this is a technique. So when I am teaching, if I'm in a workshop or a breakout session, I take the books from my table in there. Do you know that I sell most of my books in my sessions so that I'm not waiting on them to come back to my table? I have witnesses, okay? We grab the books and they stand in line right there and boom, boom, boom. Most of my books are gone. Then people go to my table and they're like, I'm looking for this book. We sold out in my workshop. It's a technique that works, okay? But think about postage. Do you want to be going to the post office? I know I don't. And the only time I did it, there was one time that I did this where I had an overabundance of books in my garage. I was moving. So I was doing an arts program then, and I said, hey, if you fill out this list online, collecting data, okay? If you fill out this form online, I will ship you a book and for the first 50 people, and then after that, I'll give you the digital download. So I was able to add a lot of people to my mailing list, and I shipped those books out. It might have cost maybe $3 per book for me to ship, and probably about $2.50 per copy. And within 7 days, I made $3,000 on that class. Okay? Do what makes you money. Also, products need protection. So if you're thinking about your product, are you shipping anything fragile? Is it breaking? Do you need to make sure that your packaging is correct? Do you have insurance? Depending on what type of product that you're offering, how are you protecting yourself from litigation? All right. I'm not an insurance person. I'm just inviting you to protect yourself and to think about these things in your business. All right. All right. Let's get to digital products. So those are physical products. Let's talk about digital products. And I told you we're going to go a little deep today. All right. So I hope you're already like, woo. All right. So digital products. I sell digital products. The same thing about your professional presence, though. You can't just throw a Word document together and think that's going to get it. Like if you're going to do digital products, make sure that they're quality digital products. Okay. So think about the design of your digital products. How is it on brand for you? How is it communicating your message? What incentive do the people have to get your digital product? And when I'm telling you to hone in, some of you are trying to do everything at once instead of segmenting what you have to create more profits for yourself. You're doing too much at once. So I segment things. And if people keep asking me for something, I do a class for it. Okay. I've done classes on building websites, on payment portals and money machines, on speaking, everything that you can think of. And I did it because people kept asking me for it. What's my quote? If people keep asking you for it, it's probably a business. If no one's asking you for it, you probably have no business doing it. Okay, so think about your delivery. There are several platforms for you to do digital product delivery. I do not pay $97 a month. I told you I'm the expert at getting low cost things, but that's the benefit of you being a client of mine is you get to know what those things are. I have been putting together a toolkit for things that I cannot wait to share with my East people. Okay, so low cost, high return on investment. All right. So when I'm saying delivery is you don't wait till somebody goes to your website, signs up, and then they get the product. No, I have it where there's a button. And as soon as they pay or sign up, it automatically delivers it to them. Okay. It's a wireless delivery system for their products. Okay. So we talked about products and pathways. Let's talk about services need systems. Services need systems. OMG. We hear a lot of people complaining about people in the hair industry right now. Right? They have all these rules on their page, and here's my policy, and I'm taking this deposit, and this and that and the other. You need a booking portal or some type of calendar if you're in the service industry. So you can put a QR code. You should be using them. I have them on my cards. You can put a QR code somewhere and say, hey, schedule a session with me. I have complimentary sessions. I have paid sessions. You can do both. So my complimentary sessions are 15 minutes, sometimes 30, depending on what we're talking about. But if you want consultation, it starts at $147. Okay, that's me. Yours may be higher. It starts at $147. I do a deep dive on whatever it is they're talking about. And then if they decide to become a client, I apply that fee to their balance. So I subtract it. They're not paying me twice. Some people, what they get in our consultation is enough for them to run with it. Some people are like, I need to do more work, so great. Whatever my fee is, minus $147, there you go. I do not allow people to pick my brain. Okay, I have friends. I have friends who I love dearly, But a lot of people call me up for advice, and several people just this year, because we're going east, okay? My entrepreneur, we're going east. Several people call me, and I'm saying people, I mean high level people. I get high level people. Someone called me and they're like, I have this app that I'm developing and I want to talk to you about this. I have speaking engagements that I'm presenting. These speaking engagements cost X thousands of dollars. They're going to pay me thousands of dollars per speaking engagement. And I would like to sit with you and talk to you about my methods. And I said, awesome. I got an invoice for you, or you can book on my calendar and it's going to cost no problem. I'll pay you. You have to put greater boundaries in place. Now, a discovery session where I'm just networking and I'm getting to meet you, that's different, but I'm not going to tell you all my secrets. People want to give you your secrets. One thing that my business mentor told me that I still apply to this day, she said, if you tell somebody how to do everything, think about it like selling a piece of your business. How much is that worth to you to make them your competitor? I was like, whoop. So you got to start charging people and thinking about, I'll teach you this portion, but if I give away all my secret sauce, then you're trying to be my competitor. And that has happened to me, and it's all right, because I'm always going to do something on the next level. All right. So you need a booking portal, whether it's a calendar or if you are doing a service like massage or esthetician or hair, you might need to use a different type of booking portal where you can put your policies in there and where they need to meet you. But you need a portal. And the portal is not text messaging on your phone. That is not a professional presence. Even though if you start there, I'm not going to beat you up, but don't stay there. You've been doing this for 5 years and you still got people texting you. All right. You need a sales portal. How are you selling online? Okay. If you have a service, you need a sales portal. I built a funnel. I have a funnel that was built. I didn't build it. I paid somebody to do it, because that's what we do when we're in business. So I have a funnel now for my business that walks them through the steps and it automates everything. So in my sales portal, there is a page. When they take an action on that page, they'll get an email based on the action that they take. It's all automated. It processes payments automated. It links them to my course automated. That was an investment, but it was required. Why? Because I teach high level people. We cannot bootleg, okay? Wherever you are though, start where you are. So some of you will go, I can't afford that. And then you just tap out. Don't do it. Start somewhere. My first courses were e-correspondence. This was before all of these online platforms. So people would pay me, right? Via PayPal. I had a website. People would pay me via PayPal, and then I would send them an assignment through the email. They would send it back and I would send another one for 7 weeks. Aren't you glad we grew? But some people are still doing that. All right. So you need a sales portal. Where are you selling? Amazon is one of my sales portals for my books. I have a digital sales portal on my website. It's linked there. Every time somebody goes and they look for you online, it should lead to a sales portal. Why? Because we're going to do what makes you money. You need a payment portal. I talked about your banking, right? You need to connect that. Be a good steward over your finances. So you need a payment portal. You need a portal where you can process payments online. Sometimes that's Zelle, PayPal, Square. Okay, some people use other things, and then you need an offline payment portal. So when I go to events, people tap, they can tap to pay. So I use Square when I go to events, right? They can tap Apple Pay or whatever they're doing. They can tap to pay right there, and it's easier than me just taking their card. I tap their card like we do at the drive-through. Okay, if not, I can enter that information. If they want to send me money, I ain't gonna turn it down, but I would rather you do it so that it's all in one place and it all deposits into my bank account that night. You need payment portals. You can program these portals or tell these portals what the service is or product is that you're offering and how much it is per product or service, okay? Communications portals. This is a good class. Communications portals. You need to be able to communicate effectively with your prospects and with your clients, okay? So an email service provider. Y'all, there are people now to this day who still spam me via Gmail or their regular old email address, and you do not give me the opportunity to say bye-bye, okay? That's not legal. So when I am putting someone in my portal, just because I collect a business card from you does not give me the the invitation to throw you into my sales portal. However, if you've interacted with me like this, I put you in my portal, but I still give you the opportunity to say bye-bye, okay? Right? So you've interacted with my business in some type of way, then I am putting you into my portal, which is a CRM. I have a management portal for my customers, but an email service provider. So whatever it is you're using, whether it's MailChimp or Constant Contact or something, you need to have people. I collect email addresses, names, and phone numbers. So name, phone, email. Why do I collect phone numbers? Because sometimes I want to give you a call. I do not bug people. Sometimes I used to do texting a lot. Sometimes that works well. It's not something I always do because you get on people's nerves. Okay. But if I am selling a high dollar or high value product, it is good to be able to have a phone number. So if somebody puts a form in, I can say, can I set up a call with you, or text and say, hey, I'm online waiting for you, but I'm not going to bug you and call you and call you and call you because I don't like it, so I don't do it. All right. So you need to set up a system. You can start free. Okay. Or if you have less than so many emails, it's no cost to you, but you need to do that the right way because that's your professional presence. All right. You can do SMS or short messaging system, which is texting. You use this very sparingly. So the only time people do this is if they're actually in your programs, or actually, like, let's say you're running a challenge like this, you want to say the challenge starts now and let them get on there, but not to just be spamming them. So they're like, stop. You don't want them saying stop. I rarely had people unsubscribe from my text marketing campaigns, rarely, because I didn't overdo it. Okay. All right. And then video meetings to communicate. So whether you use Zoom or whether you use Google Meet, there are no cost platforms. Okay. You need to have a professional way to communicate. We are in the Jetsons. Meet George Jetson, right? So there's a different rapport and a connection that you make when you go to video. So right now you're where you are and I'm where I am, but there's a different connection because you can see my face and my expressions and it feels like we're interacting, okay? So you can set up those depending on what calendar you're using. You can automatically invite people to join certain meetings. I think some people use Teams. Sometimes that gives me problems, but I'm telling you that there are solutions for you. And those are ways that you can communicate and set them up, all right? Then you need a management portal. I have a CRM. It's where I put email addresses, telephone numbers, okay, names. And then I, from my portal, can send out emails because it's an email service provider in my portal. I can see from my portal who opened my emails, which probably means I can segment that to give more attention to people who are actually interested versus people who never open it. Why? Because at some point, when you get a lot of people in your portal, it costs you more money. I don't want dead weight in there, okay? But I can see who opened it and what actions they took if they clicked the link. I can see if they opened it, the email, then I can see if they clicked the link. Those are people I probably want to follow up with. If you're using a portal, you can do a special invitation or some type of special presentation for the people who are actively engaged with your brand. I also use project management. I use Asana. Some people use Monday, Trello, whatever it is that you want to use. I have a project management portal. If I have a prospect or if I have a client, I put them in that portal. I put this is now, I have upgraded if you have not recognized that, okay? I put them in this portal and we're able to communicate back and forth without, do you have time to call? And so I can see messages and respond. It comes through my phone, it comes through my computer, and we can set up meetings and we're good to go. Okay, so try to get yourself system. Do not be overwhelmed. Start somewhere, but you can do these things, and in some places you can do them all in the same place, so you're not all over the place. Okay, this is an important part of the formula. Relationships. They say that your network is your net worth. Okay, your relationships can do what money cannot. There are doors that have been opened for me based on relationships, and I mean literal doors. I have received more office space in my life than anybody probably has because of relationships that I've had with people. Build authentic relationships. And let me get in your face and say this. Don't just build relationships with people that you think are going to buy your stuff. Sometimes you need to build relationships with people who can hold you accountable, who can advise you, who can encourage you, who can recommend you, who can refer you. But some people are so stuck on making a sale that you alienate relationships that could have taken you to that next place because you're just focused on one thing. So build authentic relationships. And how do you do that? Through networking. Get yourself out of the house. I almost said your tail. Get yourself out of the house. Go look at high value. I find high value networking opportunities. Some of them I have to pay for my lunch. Some of them there's a paid price of entry, and some of them are complimentary. When I go into network, you know what I do? I'm going to wear something that makes you want to talk to me. I'm going to smile. I'm going to approach you. I'm going to have my professional presence together, whether that's my card or whatever website I refer you to. You're going to see that it's a good investment and it is legitimate. I am listening what they're saying. I'm not automatically saying, you need to go east. Everybody does need to go east, but I'm not just pushing that from the beginning, right? So usually I go in there, people like my vibe or they like my spirit. Spirit is the word they use with me. I love your spirit, right? And then so from there, we establish, okay, do we want to go meet for coffee? Do we want to go talk to each other on video? Do we need to do a phone call? How is it that I can help you and you can help me? Networking is amazing. And sometimes networking doesn't happen in a regular networking session. So when I go to events, I pay to go to business events because I am not finished growing. And I do not know all there is to know about business, but there are people who do. So I make sure that my face is in the place of the people who do those things. So I use the networking opportunity with the person next to me, with the person in back of me, with the person that's picking up lunch. I don't just stand in my little box and act like I don't see anybody because I don't know anybody. I'm like, hi, how are you? Hi, hey, was that session good for you? Can you work on your personality a little bit? Your personality will bring you prosperity. Yes, Rekesha said it. Okay. So think about every networking opportunity you have, and you never know who you're going to run into. Man, I'm telling you, I have met some amazing people by just hosting events, and they bless my socks off. Okay. Also, in relationships, advisors. Who is advising you? The thing that I love about the life that I have is I don't expect one person to have all the answers. If they've mastered an area of their lives, I am one to know about your mastery. Okay? But I'm not in there as a leech. I'm not in there as a spy. I am in there as a student to soak up what it is that they have. So I have different advisors for different portions of my life. I invite you to do the same thing. I have a life mentor. I have a business mentor. I have a money mentor. My money mentor is a multimillionaire. I am not taking money advice from brokenaires. I am taking money advice from someone I have verified their assets and income. Okay? So wherever it is you want to grow, get an advisor to get you there. All right? I have mentors. You have advisors. Can you advise me on this? And sometimes advising is only one project. I do advising when I'm not a mentor. I do advising, and usually I pay for advising, or I'm paid to advise. So advising is, look, I need a solution for this particular challenge that I'm having. Help me to figure this out. Thank you. Thank you. Here's your money. Boom. It's not a two-way relationship. Okay. But mentor is someone probably who spends more time with you, who is holding you accountable, who is looking for some types of results from you. And these can be paid mentorships or unpaid mentorships. I have done both. Okay. And coaches, right? A coach gets you a specific type of result. During the pandemic, I hired a personal trainer. He coached me. He coached me until at least I had a defined line in my tummy. I couldn't do that without it. Okay. He pushed me. He coached me. I compensated him for his coaching. It made a difference. If you have a specific goal that you're trying to reach, you get a coach. I always talk about it with the Olympics. You know, one of our amazing Olympians had to leave her home and go to a coach that could get her to the goal. So sometimes that's what you have to do. You have to leave your comfort zone. And that person may not be in your city. That person may not be in your town. That person may not be in your circle, but make sure that they've done what you're trying to do. That's all we're saying. All right. So here are some little nuggets for you to take away from this. You've done so well. All right. We're almost closing out on E, which is entrepreneur. Okay, of E's. Stop trying to execute a good idea in a terrible way. That's half the battle. People judge what it looks like, whether they want to make that investment or not. So you probably should stop printing workbooks from home if you want people to buy your products. Okay, go get it manufactured. It's very, very cheap. A lot of the ideas need a little bit of honing. Okay, some of you need a solid brand. You haven't defined what that brand is, and it's still unclear to you. And so when you go out, you don't know what that is. When I network, I get compliments on my elevator speech, which is very, very quick. I help entrepreneurs create profitable books, speaking platforms, and training programs for brand expansion. They're like, oh my God, yes, I need to talk to you. They start dragging me, clear, I'm clear. My brand is clear. This brand, I have a couple of them, but my brand is clear. All right. Y'all know what I do. I'm going to midwife somebody. Clear. Okay. You have to be very clear about what you offer. I am multi-talented, but I cannot do everything at the same time. Be clear. Allow the clearest thing that you have to offer to give you the life that you want and that you see and that you desire. All right. So you need to refine and define your brand. I am very good at helping people to do that. You must invest in your own dreams. How is it that you are thinking that someone else is going to do what you're unwilling to do? You're unwilling to put money into your business or your dream. You're unwilling to book yourself. I'll talk about that more when we get to speaker. People are like, well, no one asked me to speak. You didn't ask you to speak. Okay. I'm very good with English, but I do this for emphasis. Okay. You say that you have not put on or taken on the challenge of figuring out the weight of hosting an event to know why maybe they didn't ask you. Okay, so you have to invest in your own dream. You have to figure it out. I never say I don't have it. I always ask, how can I get it? Money, price tags don't make me shake. Okay, if you tell me something costs $10,000, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure it out. I will figure out how to get it. That is the level of confidence that I have in my core talent, and that's the level of confidence that you should have in your core talent. For instance, I don't want to say too much, but I'll say this. I met with a realtor, okay? And I'm like, oh, I'm thinking about buying a house in this particular area. And my income at that time, she was like, well, you're not going to find anything in this area. So I did not ask what I qualified for. I just want you to show me what I want. I will go get it. I hope that that helps somebody today. Do not look at your bank account. I don't need to know what I have in the bank. Is it possible? Okay. Long story short, I more than doubled my income since then. Okay. So now I qualify for a whole nother level of house. If you do not think that way about yourself, you will feel defeated, or you will let people dictate to you what you qualify for. I don't need to know what I qualify for. I just need to know if it's possible. Show me what I want to see, and I'll work my way towards it. I know that I can't hear you clapping right now, but I want you to just clap for yourself and look at things differently. Whatever it is, I'm going to figure out a way to get it. I'm going to figure out a way to do it. But don't tell me what I cannot have based on what you see in my bank. It's what I see in the future that I'm counting on that. And you can take that to the bank. Okay? Yes. So set timelines and earning targets. If you do not have a finish line, you won't. Okay? So you need a target. You can exceed it, but get to it. So if you say, you know what, Rekesha, I want to make an extra $40,000, my second salary. I want to make an extra $40,000. Reverse engineer that, divide $40,000 by 12. That's what you see that you need to do per month, see what you need to do per week, and then you should put systems in place to make sure that you're doing that. You may need to go vend at a bigger place. You may need to go get a bigger system. But if you don't know where you want to go, and be realistic, right? If you don't know where you want to go, you won't know how to put things in place to get there. So if I want to go to Hawaii, right, I'm not going to drive in my car to go get there. I have to catch a flight. So it's the same thing. If you know where you want to go, then you'll know how you need to go about getting there. What are your earning targets? When I use the money magnet, right? Every week I set an income target. It's not the same every week. Christmas week, I might not make as much as Black Friday. See what I'm saying? So every week I'm like, all right, this week I want to make $1,000. And then I have to put some system in place or have some type of products or digital products. I did that. I think in 2022, I did some sale. Now listen here. Okay. So mind you, I had done the trainings, like $27 for the training. So I decided, instead of doing a brand new training, I put together a bundle of stuff I already did. And I sold it for $22. And baby, I made $1,000 easy on that. Do you hear me? Sometimes you're looking to do all of this new stuff instead of looking at what can I repackage, and I repackaged it and I put it all together. And baby, some people who did not take those courses or those classes individually bought it for the low, and I was happy. All right. So set timelines and earning targets. Also, designate a space to house your business. I'm going to say that again. My first business was in a file cabinet. Before I moved it out of my home, my first business was in a filing cabinet. So I designated that as my space, and I kept my important paperwork there. And I grew from that file cabinet to I had a whole office to I literally had a walk-in space and address where I was meeting and greeting my clients. Set a designated space for your business, and talk to it and make sure that it's growing. Okay, I know that sounds weird, but hey. All right. And grow out before you go out. So I've not done everything right. That's why I can passionately stand before you and tell you some of these things. When I was in Vegas, I had a training business and I was renting office space, and it was probably like $400 or $500 a month. But that business wasn't generating enough over $400 or $500 a month. So some months I was struggling because I wanted to look like I had a mail station and look like I could come in and work. But I had to go hustle outside of there, and people weren't coming to visit me there because the location wasn't conducive for that. So some of us are like, I need to go get a building and they will come. No. Grow out before you go out. So when I had so many people wanting to meet with me that I could not do it from home, or I couldn't just do it at some coffee shop, then I went to go get an office because I was making way more than the monthly price of that office. Okay. Start with low cost tools and systems. You need something, so start somewhere. All right. And this was E for entrepreneur. We covered some major topics. Remember to do your self-assessment. And I want to continue to go east with you. So that was our session for day 1. That's entrepreneur. Next, we'll cover author, we'll cover speaker, and we will cover trainer. Go east with me at theeastformula.com. Or if you want to join the cohort for 2024, the site is go24east.com.